Hello Ramen Nation, Chris Cobain here bringing you another Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle. Had this battle I think just yesterday on my stream. Really good one, comes down to the very last turn. It was a really fun battle as well, so I had to show it to you guys. So if you want to take a look at my team real quick, I explained to you before that I was going shifting to a little more of a hyper offensive tier. This team is not, as you can obviously see. I've got my physical and special wall and Jellicent and Tangrowth. I've got more bulky Pokemon Empoleon and Sandslash. The reason, one, Tangrowth doesn't do a ton of things in hyper offensive, his best thing being a knockoffer, and somewhat of a pivot with Regenerator for certain Pokemon, but he didn't have a whole lot of use, and I wanted to run him, so what I decided to do is run more of my traditional team, except I have two incredibly powerful wall breakers. That is a Specs Hydreigon, and as you can see on the far end of the team, I think this is the first YouTube video in which I'm showing off Darmanitan. Now this one is Scarf Adamant. I have been running him actually Banded Adamant on stream with Galvantula on the team and Sticky Web support. The dude has been a nightmare for most people as a Band Adamant. He's one-hit everything from Magmortar to Chestnut. So I mean, resisted, super effective, whatever. I've two-hit Goodra with it. It's, you know, easily. It's really funny, but either way, he's a really cool Pokemon. I still say he shouldn't be in UU. I still believe he's far too broken for that tier. This battle will show somewhat why I believe that. On one specific occasion, because remember, he is Scarfed. So let's go ahead and get or take a look at this battle. My opponent's name, by the way, Sableye, Cresselia, Porygon, to Bisharp, Beedrill, and Raikou. I didn't say that. He leads off with the Raikou, as I go ahead and I lead off with the Hydreigon. I'm okay with this lead. I'm pretty sure he's going to be leave the Life Orb for Specs. I'm not terrified of Hidden Power Ice. I'm going to try to kill him with Specs Draco, but he does decide to Volt Switch out, which is completely fine. The damage, no Life Orb there on him, and he does do a lot, showing he is Specs. He will be bringing his Porygon 2. Typically, Porygon 2 more of a physical wall, as opposed to a special wall. Typically, actually, I can 4-hit these with, like, Florida's Moonblast, but this one, for sure, set up to be a special wall, as you're going to see this Specs Draco does half, which is ridiculous. That is unbelievable bulk. And as you're going to see, this Porygon gives me a hell of a lot of trouble here. So I'm going to go ahead and switch into Darmanitan, and he's going to go for Recover. That's why I switched into Darm. I kind of figured. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to Flare Blitz. I saw he's a special wall, so Flare Blitz should do a lot. But nah, Porygon 2 is still really difficult to take down, and that does half as well. He does Recover, predicting the Flare Blitz, so that, you know, I wear myself down and recall. Pretty much of a stally strat, but that's okay. Kind of makes me wish I brought my wall breaker teams, but I just kind of have wall breakers, so I'm going to go into my wall here, that's Jellicent. He actually ends up going for Toxic there, which is a little terrible because I actually could have killed him if I would have Flare Blitzed twice, but it's good to save Darmanitan for later, especially when he would have got Toxic, so I will go for Will-O-Wisp here. I'm kind of assuming this thing's moveset at this point is like Ice Beam, Tri-Attack, Toxic, and Recover, but he does reveal the Discharge, which means he does have super effective damage. He can't paralyze me, of course, and that's not doing a ton, so it's not a ginormous threat, but I also don't want this Toxic to wear on me, especially considering I know I can't really touch him, and I can't even Hex him for decent damage because, of course, he's the normal type, so I'm going to switch right out, predicting a second Discharge, and go into Sandslash. So I'm almost positive at this point his last attack is going to be the Tri-Attack. I've never really seen a Porygon 2 or a Porygon in general without Tri-Attack, so you gotta assume anyway. I do outspeed, go for the knockoff, which is cool because obviously his Eviolite is now gone. He's actually going to Recover at that point. That's completely fine by me now because I do have the Eviolite off, meaning he is much less of a threat than he was before. Far less bulky. Eviolite is always such a difficult item to work with. So at that point I Earthquake. I completely forgot he had traced my Levitate on my Hydreigon, and then to top that off, he reveals Ice Beam, showing no Tri-Attack. Ice Beam, Discharge, Toxic, Recover, completely surprised by that. and I'm gonna have to knock off again as he's gonna go ahead and Ice Beam and take me out. I'm okay with that. Sandslash didn't do a hell of a lot in this match outside of get rid of the Beedrill, but I do have Darm for that, so not a giant deal. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my Darm. We showed me doing half before. I figured this is my safest switch, and he's going to take me out, or I'm going to take him out, excuse me, with Flare Blitz, so that's good. That thing was a terror. So now he's going to bring in his next wall, Cresselia. And at that, the way he brought that in, I'm kind of positive this is more of a physical wall. So I'm going to go ahead and switch into something to eat up a Psychic or Psyshock. That's going to be Triple H. Thankfully, he does straight out go for it. Now, I'm kind of scared of this thing carrying Ice Beam, but I'm okay with doing a lot of damage to this and dying. So I'm going to hit him for massive damage with that Dark Pulse. And then he reveals Moonblast, which isn't too much of a surprise. I actually thought Ice Beam and thought maybe I'd live it badly. But obviously, I'm not taking that Moonblast at all, and I'm going to die. That's alright. Like I said, I was planning on doing a lot of damage and possibly dying there. I knew that I would do a lot, though. So now I can instantly bring back in the Revenge Killer that is Darm, and I'm going to take him out, too, with Flare Blitz. Showing that cleanup strat, boys. As Cresselia goes down. So now it's 4-on-4. I think this is the turn in which I show brokenness. Raikou comes out. Raikou is not by any stretch a frail Pokemon. Keep that in mind. He's not super bulky, and this one's an offensive set, but he is fairly bulky. And I'm Scarfed. And he's dead, which is ridiculous. I was actually planning on dying that turn. I did not think I'd one-hit him, but I had nothing I'd want to switch into to take a Specs Thunderbolt to the mouth. And just worked out. So now he brings in Bisharp. This thing is freaking terrifying. I'm going to switch into Empoleon here, predicting that Sucker Punch. But it turns out he's sashed, and he goes for Swords Dance because he didn't care. If I would have Flare Blitz there, I would have killed, or he would have been down to Sash, and would have been in business there because I could have killed him with Tangrowth. But, too bad. Since he's still sashed, obviously, he's going to go for another Swords Dance, meaning he is at +4. RNG hates me. I get burnt by every Scald in history and can never get a burn with Scald. So, he just kills me with a +4 knockoff to the face, which is bad. So now I'm going to bring in Tangrowth. At this point, I'm almost positive I lost as long as he reveals his Sucker Punch. So, I know I can live one knockoff. I'm a Tangrowth, for God's sake. It does a Nike ton of damage, but I do live. I will be able to get off a Giga Drain, which doesn't do anywhere near enough. So at this point, I've almost given up this batch, actually. I actually switch out just to get my Regenerator and hope to God I can fight him off some other way. But as I switch into Jellicent, he actually goes for Sucker Punch, allowing me to live. Now, this was a bit of misplay on my opponent's part here. I don't know if he thought maybe it was a fast offensive set or something. You guys know my Jellicent's a special wall. He goes for Sucker Punch again, which allows me to get off a Will-O-Wisp, which is a huge deal at this point in the game. Definitely a misplay there. Knockoff obviously would have outsped me, obviously would have killed me quickly. You know, so I get the Will-O-Wisp off, which becomes a huge deal here. So he's going to go ahead and go down. I went for Recover this turn just in case. He's not going to make the same mistake twice, though, so he will knock off. That's obviously, that would have been a one-hit KO even if I was at max HP and he was burnt in that situation. So he's about dead to the burn now. I can bring in Tangrowth here and Protect Up, which is going to take him out and remove that threat on a pretty critical misplay on my opponent's part. But that's okay. That's going to give me this slight chance coming into the end of this match here as he goes down to the burn damage. So he's got 2 Pokemon left. He's got that Beedrill, which I know is Mega, and the Sublime, which could have been Mega, but I was positive this was the Mega here. So he will go ahead and Mega up here. I think he also protects this turn, which is pretty much irrelevant because I don't outspeed him anyway, but you might as well, I guess. It would have given me a free switch into Darm, which may have shored up this game for me, but whatever. So now I'm not enough HP. I can live a Poison Jab for max health, but I'm not enough to live one from that. So I will go down to Poison Jab, which makes it 2-on-1 with Darm. So here we go. I know I can outspeed this. I know I can one-hit this. It's a freaking Beedrill. I one-hit Raikou. So Beedrill definitely dead. I was super confident that I could live the recoil damage because Beedrill doesn't have a lot of HP anyway. And as you're gonna see here, as the recoil racks up, I survive with literally 1 health. Final Pokemon supply, gotta pray, no sucker, no Shadow Sneak, no priority. I do get the Flare Blitz off. It all comes down to whether or not I one-hit it or not. And I don't. I believe Eon told me I missed him by 13 health there. I believe is what he said his health was at. And I lose by 13 HP. Darn, not quite enough to finish off that match there. I ran a calc after this. A max special defense supply has no chance of living a Flare Blitz, my Flare Blitz anyway. A 252 HP, 282 defense supply with not defense boosting nature is 50-50. But if he was indeed completely maxed, 252 HP, 252 defense, and you know, impish or bold or whatever nature, then my maximum roll was 99%, meaning he was guaranteed to live, and that seems about right to me. It could have been not a defense boosting nature, and I just got like a a pretty neutral roll and just barely failed to get it, but or it certainly could have been completely max defense and I got a super high roll too. I don't know which, but either way, no luck and the supply able to live. This is one of these matches here that really show you guys why I want to run more of a hyper offensive team. This team, very stally. With the Porygon, the Cresselia, the Prankster Sublime, even Raikou is bulky, Bisharp is annoying. It's not a full bulk team, obviously with the Beedrill, the Bisharp, the Bisharp, and the Raikou. He is meant to do offense somewhat, but he does have half that stally team going on. It might have turned out a little better for me if I had more of my hyper offensive team. If I had my Bandit Darm with Sticky Web up, it certainly would have been a big deal. The Raikou still would have been dead. The Beedrill wouldn't outsped me. I would have killed that, and Sublime wouldn't have lived. So it could have turned out differently, but then again, I wouldn't have something on this team, you know. So who knows, really, what would have happened. But anyway, that's it for this battle, you guys. So thank you guys for taking the time out of the day to watch the video. Much appreciated. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that like button under the video. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube as well, make sure you do that. It helps me out a lot. It's going to let you know when I upload more videos. As soon as I upload it, you'll get the message. I try to upload once every 5-6 days or so. And if you have not checked out my live stream, make sure you do so at twitch.tv/xchriscobain. There'll be a link in the description below. That's your best bet to battle me. Maybe get yourself on YouTube, talk to me live. It's always fun there, always chill, so make sure you come hang out with me if you ever get a chance, alright? But that's it from me, guys, so I will check you guys out in the next video.